What's up, everyone? Welcome to another amazing weekly interview. And today we have with us. This introduction is going to be a power-packed one. I have to actually read it out. Yes, model. Okay, model turned teacher turned business lawyer, and now running a blog successfully, generating five figures a month while maintaining her full-time job as a business lawyer. It really gives me immense pleasure to have this person with us today, and her name is Amira Irfan. Thank you so much, Amira, for doing this. I hope I could do justice to your introduction.
Oh my God, you did. Thank you so much for having me here. I'm so excited.
Absolutely. So why don't you just let the audience know about what who were you before you stumbled upon the digital space?
Yeah, absolutely. So before the whole online space, I was working full time, and I still do as a business lawyer. So I was already helping entrepreneurs with all kinds of issues, legal issues with their businesses. And before that, you already gave a very nice introduction. So before that, I was a teacher. And so I've been working with, entrepreneurs and teaching business law and all kinds of things for more than 10 years now. And then before that, I was a model. So yeah, I've had a very diverse background. So one day it just occurred to me that I could incorporate all of those skills and start making a bigger impact in the online world. So I was already helping people, as a lawyer, one person at a time as clients. But then in the online space, I can help thousands at a time. So, you see the difference, right? You have an opportunity to just really take your skills and apply them and offer products that really solve someone's problem. So that's why I started, my online business.
No, absolutely. And you've had this passion for teaching for
Yes.
quite some time, and not just as a teacher, but even once you embodied the role of a business lawyer, you realized that there was a demand out there for
Yes.
people to learn from you, and there was a huge opportunity that you saw, and I think that's what really gave rise to is it a self guru or is it a self guru?
A self-grow.
A
Yes.
self guru, right? Right. So that's
Mm-hmm.
what gave rise to a self guru. So why don't you? What were the initial struggles that you faced when you started setting up the blog? Because were you someone who knew what blogging was all about, technicality,
No.
stuff like that? So what were the initial challenges that you faced when after you had the idea that, okay, this is what I want to do? What are the initial challenges that you faced?
That's a great question. So I had never ever thought about blogging. I kind of had an idea that I was going to start with an online business, but it was never clear that what kind and how and all of that good stuff, right? So I stumbled upon a YouTube video, got inspired by, six-figure bloggers, and I said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do this. So the very next day, I just started. I had zero experience, zero technical background, never done this before. But I did invest in a course. So I invested in the tools because I didn't want to waste time trying to figure everything out on my own because I work full time as a lawyer. So time is so limited. And I had to maximize whatever little few hours I had during the day after work to start this. So
Mm-hmm.
that's what I did. And the biggest struggle till this day is time management. I mean, like any kind of online business, whether it's blogging or an e-commerce or whatever it may be, it demands it's a full-time commitment, right?
Absolutely.
So then trying to also balance that with my full-time job as a lawyer, which itself is a very demanding career, it's been a challenge, right? So I've had to work weekends. I've had to stay up all night at times. I've had to if I'm working on a major project, creating a product. It's been a struggle to just have that balance. So
Mm-hmm.
I can say I'm a workaholic. I don't I don't have a balance. I don't have that personal and professional balance, or which I will eventually. But right now it's been just work and trying to make sure that I'm serving my audience.
No, absolutely. And the fact that you're, balancing these two so well, it definitely isn't as easy as, you make it sound. However,
Yeah.
My question to you is that, like, yes, you did face initial challenges and you had to, invest in a course because you wanted to fast track your growth.
Yes,
You don't want to go out there and make all the mistakes yourself. You're like, hey, somebody else has made the mistakes. Let me just follow. And
exactly.
from the get-go, you were like, I'm going to just choose the right mentor and then just follow and then apply everything that I learned. And when you first started blogging, like, did you have a clear idea? Did you have a clear vision of what your blog was going to do for you?
No, I didn't. I mean, I knew it was going to be related to business. I knew it was going to be related to law because, again, those are my specialties, those are my skills, and you want to blog about stuff that you're passionate about. So I wanted to use those into my blogging, but I just, like I said, I didn't know the how, right? So that's where it was my aha moment was when I learned how many entrepreneurs, bloggers, coaches, freelancers were just overall struggling with figuring out the legalities of their business. So that was my aha moment. I was like, oh, great. I already help people on one-on-one basis in my law practice. Now, why don't I just use that into the online world and help the masses? So that was, that's what I did. So I took that experience and expertise, but then I also needed to figure out that how do I do that in the best possible way? Where it's through products, like obviously where people can have instant results. It's easy for them because law is such a topic that is complicated. It's intimidating. People don't get it. I mean, I'm pretty sure you've probably seen in Facebook groups and here and there, people kind of being confused, right? Or what do I do? Or how do I do this? Or how do I make sure my blog is legal? Or am I, giving the right disclosures and things like that? So I kind of use that as an opportunity. I saw that as an opportunity to help people. And that's where my teaching background comes in, right? So I love working with people. I'm such a people person. So it just kind of all tied in together. But no, in the beginning, to answer your question, I had no idea. It's only when I saw people's pain points, what they were struggling with, then it made sense to use my experience to provide a solution to them. And that solution is my affordable legal templates.
Absolutely. And before we come to your solutions, we're at that phase where we're trying to understand, okay, the idea it was just an idea. And you're like, basically what you went through is that you went through that process of taking your knowledge that you already had, identifying a problem in the marketplace, and then trying to figure out how you could really deliver the best possible solution to that problem in the marketplace. And that's what really obviously gave rise to your blog, because that was the medium of delivery. And that obviously led to opportunities to create your own courses, your own offers, your own programs. So it wasn't like an overnight process.
No, it wasn't.
Step by step by step. And then, you formed your staircase, and now you have so many different levels to everything that you're doing. So how long has it been since you started your blog?
A year and a half.
Wow. Okay. A year and a half. And what prompted, the name A Self Guru? Is there a reason behind that?
Well, honestly, at the time, I didn't give it much thought. The reason was that, you're a self-learning person, like a self-guru, someone, who's the master of their own destiny, that's the tagline. Right. So I know it's kind of cheesy, but that's what it was at the time, it was either going to be use my name or use something like that. So I went with that because, because as entrepreneurs, we're always learning, right?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of self-learning, because whether you take courses, whether you have mentors, it's just so the thought process was that you're in control of your own destiny. You are essentially a self-guru too, right? So that's what it was.
And I think the most important thing is that the most important thing is that you came up with this idea and you actually went out there to make it happen. So basically just a thought was, it was materialized and realized because you took action. And with respect to, realizing goals, is there a certain mindset that you carry towards all the goals that you have today?
Yeah, there was. I mean, one of them, I'll give you an example, is as a lawyer, I'm a perfectionist. So I am just naturally like that, right? So I'm working on a client's case or I'm handling an important legal matter. Of course, I have to be a perfectionist because I got to look at all different aspects and I got to analyze. I'm detail oriented. But I had to change that when I became an entrepreneur, because I was like, if I'm going to achieve anything, I can't sit here and be a perfectionist.
Mm-hmm.
So you know how they say done is better than perfect. So I really had to embrace that. It was a challenge. I'll be honest, it was a challenge because in the beginning, I'm looking at the design of my website. I'm getting bogged down on these little things. And I'm not the only one. I'm sure a lot of other people, and you can relate. So we question ourselves 10 times, right? And so if it's writing a blog post, I'm like really taking my sweet little time. But then I'm like, no, I just have to put it out there. Like you said, you have to take action. So you can't just be so much bogged down into the thinking phase. At some point you have to say, okay, even if it's not perfect, it's okay. It's still better than, nothing out there.
No, absolutely. In fact, there's a saying that goes, version 1 is better than version none.
Yeah. Yes. Right.
I think I completely relate with the whole, perfectionism, thought process. Actually, I have as well. And now, because I've embodied that whole way of thinking that, just put it out there,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I think that's the most important thing, because the advantage of just putting it just putting your message out there without it being the most perfect message as per your perspective, it'll just tell you how the market really reacts to the message.
Yeah, exactly.
And if there's even like a demand for more,
exactly.
But if you're going to spend so much time creating that perfect product or that perfect email, and then finally you send it out and then, nothing happens, it's like dead silence, then, you wasted so much time. So that's the reason why, you put your stuff out there, you see how what kind of response you
People
get.
react.
You take it from there to the next level. You improvise, you make it better, you refine that process. And I think perfectionism should not exist in entrepreneur.
Right. Exactly. And you nailed it. Like, you will refine it. Like, as you go over the course of this a year and a half, I have made my products better, right? So once you assess the needs and once you see how people are reacting, then you introduce something else, like version 2, version 3, So there's always room for improvement. The key is to, like you said, just put it out there.
So for a lot of people who are watching this right now who have not done anything and they have the idea brewing in their minds, so let me ask you something with respect to, the technicalities, since when you're starting a blog, it's of course it'll become relatively easier today to start a blog, and you don't really have to be, do your mastery in, blog.
No, you don't have to be a tech guru, no.
Exactly. So what advice would you give to someone to start a blog today? What would you just tell them that, don't worry about it, like this, you just have to know this, like you have like a 3 step process for them to just make that small leap into, getting things in motion?
I honestly would say learn from someone, invest in a course. Here's why, because it's not a 2-3 things, right? Blog, you can have a blog, but if you're going to monetize from it, like if that's your end goal, a lot of people have blogs as hobbies. They don't have an intention of ever making money from it. It's like a diary. They'll get on there, they'll write what they want to write about. You know what I mean? Oh, I had this today, or I went on this vacation. But if you're really serious and you want to turn that blog into a business, then I highly recommend that time is money. I know it's a lawyer mentality, but it's a fact. So take your time, treat your time like that. So go ahead and invest in a course. I honestly launched my blog in 7 days. And I was able to do that because I had all the tools, like everything was laid out for me. I knew step 1, step 2, step 10, step 15, So it was just all like I spent a weekend and I just absorbed all that information, started putting it in motion. And then here we are, in 7 days, I have a live blog. It's getting, you know what I mean? So my point is to invest in the right tools, the right resources, do it right. The problem is if you try to figure out everything on your own, you'll make mistakes and it just will slow down your progress. So if you learn from a successful blogger who's already done it, you respect them, I like them, then go ahead and pick, there's so many, right? So go ahead and pick someone that you relate to, someone that appeals to you, and start learning from them, because you'll just expedite your progress so much more than just trying to figure out A, B, C of your own. Because, especially if you have no clue, like I had zero idea of how to start a blog, what to do, the technical aspect of it, what tools to use, whether it's Bluehost, whether it's HostGator, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Just so many little things that go on the back end of it. And you just want to have a roadmap. And that roadmap comes in a shape of course, ebook, whatever you prefer, however you learn. You know, everybody learns differently. And I have like tons of resources actually on my website under the recommendations page too. Then I want to answer your question too. So it kind of just literally lays out for you. Okay, started with this, started with this, started with that. Because I get this question asked a lot. So I have it right there on my website.
And I've obviously visited your blog and I've read some interviews with other people. I've read some of the articles, and I love how attractive your blog is. You know,
Okay.
it's like you can't really, I mean, was this done by a lawyer? No. It's not to like put the whole lawyer stereotype, thing, but
lawyers are boring. I get it.
like it's just so colorful and creative, and especially the branding and
Thank you.
Like because when I was reading an article, I think it was something to do with SEO, and
Yeah.
I just love how much work you put into really, like the whole layout of the article and everything like that a person while reading would think about. Like there's a link over there taking them somewhere else. Like, so why don't you, I mean, obviously this takes work. It's not like something you just put like you just sit down for the computer in like 5 minutes and it's done.
No.
This is like each post that you write is a representation of your brand, a representation of how consistent you are from what you've been doing. And you have to like maintain that level of delivery,
right.
Like now, I mean, it's been a year and a half, and you are running a successful blog. By numbers today, you've crossed the $35,000 mark, which I mean, congratulations. A lot of people
Thank you.
aspire to do that, and you've cracked that code, if I may. And obviously while you're achieving your own milestones, you're inspiring and helping others achieve it as well. And my question is that how do you, like at this level right now, how do you consistently maintain the content that you put out there? How much time and effort is really required in running your blog with respect to putting stuff out there? Like, how do you really plan all this, especially since you're working as a full-time business lawyer? So how do you really how much time do you put into each post, for example? Let's just start from there.
Sure. Yeah, no, good question. So a long time. So I focus on quality over quantity. I am not the kind of person who's going to churn out a blog post every other day. I'm not like that, because to me, like you just talked about, the reputation, the brand, everything is so important, because I want someone to land on there and it should be comprehensive. And again, that's where the detail lawyer self comes out, right? So I want to make sure that if you're reading a blog post on a subject, I'm going to give you as much info as I can, because as if I was the one coming onto your blog and I would want. So it takes honestly up to like 6-8 hours, because it's a whole process. Yeah. I've streamlined the process now. In the beginning, of course, I didn't have the steps laid out, but now I've created my own checklist. So I have kind of walked through, okay, step 1, step 2. So I divide it up into a couple of days if I have to, or if it's the weekend, I'll just spend the whole Saturday and just knock it out, But there's the research phase, there's the SEO phase, there's the graphics, there is the affiliate links, there is inner links, and then of course just putting it all together. And it's just, it's a process. It's not, like you said, it's not something you just put together in a couple of hours and you're gone, So it just wouldn't be a very helpful, comprehensive post if I did that. I don't like to do rush jobs. I mean, again, not being a perfectionist, but at the same time, I want to give value.
No, absolutely. And I think that, the process that you have with respect to putting content out there, there is obviously a level of perfectionism with respect to the framework that you maintain around, doing that. It goes to show, because the results that you're generating is a byproduct of the effort that you're value that you're putting out there. And a lot of people who really kickstart a blog, sometimes the intention doesn't really get set on the right tone. It's like if you really know, and I tell this to anyone and everyone, that, whenever you're starting an online business, you have to first, don't chase the money. Don't see where the money is.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to see what problem you can solve in the
Yes.
marketplace by providing value. And once you
Yes.
identify that over there is your foundation. Now, you may
Yeah.
not really be amazing at solving that particular problem. At least you'll have a starting point,
Yes.
then you can move on to the next thing. But just like, because I mean, I come from that, business background. And, while growing up, my dad always said that, Romit, become a dentist so you can make a lot of money, or
Yeah.
become a heart doctor, and then you make a lot of money, and it was always the wrong message that was being put
It's
across.
true.
And
True.
obviously, many years later, and getting more wiser and more mature, and realizing things for myself, especially in the case of building an online business, it's super crucial to set the foundation. Because if you a lot of people just jump into this and they don't get the results that they're looking for, and they wonder what happened. And
Yeah.
it doesn't really, I mean, yes, it does matter who you decide to work with and who you want to learn from.
Yeah.
And choosing the right mentor is crucial. And it need not necessarily be someone who is extremely successful. It can be someone who's just
Exactly.
one step ahead of you,
Exactly.
someone you connect
Absolutely.
with, someone you can relate with, someone who you like. You
Yes.
can't work with someone you don't like. It just doesn't
Exactly.
make sense. It's like being forced to go to a classroom where you've paid money, you don't like the teacher. It doesn't
Yeah.
make sense. So having the right mentor, especially in the beginning, when you're really, and now we're living in this day and age where there's so many people who are exposed to becoming an online entrepreneur, and
Yeah.
there's so much demand for the right guidance, the right roadmap. And there are
Yeah.
so many successful entrepreneurs who are setting this roadmap, and including yourself. And
Mm-hmm.
what I mean, absolutely, we've already covered the idea of how important it is to choose the right mentor. And it goes without saying that to do things on your own is the longer route, and
Yes.
to
And the
obviously
harder route. Yeah.
the harder route as well. And choosing a mentor is just it just makes it easier, especially if you have the right support and the guidance. Now, for you, when you started off with a self guru, your intention was that you realized that there was an opportunity for you to help bloggers and
Mm-hmm.
entrepreneurs online with their legal hassles. Now,
Yes.
now, you since you're based in the United States, and you cater to individuals who are running blogs in the United States,
Mm-hmm.
does those guidelines affect people in India as well, in Asia, globally? Like, is there a difference in the guidelines to be followed by a blogger in the US, or is it like a global thing?
So certain things are global, like GDPR applies across the board. That's the law, data protection law. And as a matter of fact, I've helped people around the world. So I have customers from the UK, I have customers from Canada, I have video testimonials you can see. I have helped people in Italy, I have helped people in India as well. So it's across the board. But the key difference comes in the privacy laws. So you might have some additional privacy laws, but the templates or the products that I sell, you can easily supplement to them. So they're very comprehensive to kind of cover, especially if you're going to be marketing to the US as well, then you're kind of under the Federal Trade Commission, scrutiny as well. So you do have to abide by certain global laws, but then there are some additional ones like your own privacy laws India might have, and other countries like Canada has a different, it's very much similar to the US, but it has some nuances. Australia, all these different countries have privacy laws.
Mhm.
So yeah, GDPR applies to all of us. So you do have to comply with almost the same requirements, but if there's anything like additional, you could easily kind of add it. So the templates, like for example, that's why I'm able to help so many people, because the templates they work because of the overlap in the laws.
Absolutely. And what in your experience of realizing this opportunity and actually servicing this opportunity through your legal templates, which are available on your website to download, to buy and download? My question to you is that what are the challenges bloggers face by not being compliant?
Okay. No, great question. So what happens is that there's three things that could happen. Okay. So one, you could get fined by the Federal Trade Commission. You could get audited. And then the third, the most crazy thing is you could get sued.
Okay.
And when I say you can get sued, you could get sued for all kinds of different reasons, right? So you could get sued for not having a proper GDPR compliant privacy policy on your website, because privacy policy is required by law, no matter where you live. It doesn't matter. It's not just limited to the US. So you could easily get sued for not having, and actually businesses do get sued a lot. There's a whole website. If you go to the Federal Trade Commission's website, you'll see like the whole case law. So there are different things. And then the other thing is you could also get sued by your clients or your customers. You know, there's all kinds of ugly disputes that happen. So you asked for, you know, what could happen. That's what could happen. You could get, I deal with entrepreneurs on a daily basis with their ugly legal disputes. So I know you could be a coach, and if you didn't have a coaching agreement, for example, with your client, you could run into a dispute and have to refund everything. So, or get sued. If you don't have a disclaimer on your website, people can construe everything that you're saying as advice. And if they act on that and then later on suffer a bad consequence, they can come after you for that too. So there's so many little things and terms and conditions, like they're like your website rules. They help prevent copyright violations. You know, in the internet space, copyright is big, trademarks, things like that. So intellectual property laws. And so, yeah, there are all these different ways you could get into legal trouble. And that's why, that's one of the things, you know, entrepreneurs struggle with, right? Because they don't know all the different things. Like you could take a photo from Google and tomorrow be hit with a 10,000 lawsuit because you didn't have legal rights to use the photo. And that's across the board, you know? So it has happened. It's happened to my clients. Like they've gotten letters like, okay, we're going to sue you because you took our photo and you weren't allowed to. That's why, you know, that's where copyright law comes in. So yeah, there's so many different ways you can get in trouble.
Yeah. So, I mean, thank you for sharing that. Because a lot of people, including myself, even I don't have that level of knowledge with respect to,
See, I'm not surprised. Not many people do.
and it's something that is concerning because
Yes.
regardless of wherever you are in the world, this is a global, you know, it's legally, it's bound to be compliant by the law, because when you are running a blog, and especially if you want to monetize it, if you don't want to monetize it, maybe it's a different story altogether.
Exactly.
But if you want to monetize it, where commerce is involved, where transactions are involved, then,
yes.
you know, I mean, it's like literally, you know, having the right paperwork to protect your business, your company, you know, and just because you own a domain and you're putting stuff on it and you want to monetize it also means that you got to treat that as a company and make sure you have the right paperwork to support what you're doing and protect you from anyone else raising any fingers or suing you for that matter. And
exactly.
you know, that's where you come into the picture, where you've created an amazing set of legal templates that will support any individual all across the world to you know, apply to their personal or professional blogs.
Exactly. Exactly. And I also offer like my legal services too. Like I've been helping with legal coaching, blog coaching. Like sometimes people need personalized help, right? So I've had people reach out and say, hey, Amira, you know, I'm working on this ebook and I need like a disclaimer, a specific one, or a copyright notice and things like that. Or I need a specialized kind of contract based on the kind of services I'm providing. So I'm here to kind of help them with that too. So in addition to the legal templates are like done for you, meaning you just download, it's done for you, you plug in your info, it's super easy, 10-year-old can do it. But then you have another set of services available where if you need more personalized help, like with monetization or legalization of your business, and you want to just get on a call with me, then I have that available as well.
All right. So you have like, you know, you have solutions to many relevant legal, you know, blogging related, but mostly legal questions. And, you know, over a course of a year and a half that you've been blogging, my question to you is that, I mean, crossing $35,000 in revenue from your blog is remarkable. How did you feel when you hit that mark?
So last month, Romit, I actually hit 44,000. So, I was in a state of shock, to be honest, because very, very grateful because if it wasn't for my customers, if it wasn't for my readers, my visitors, I wouldn't be where I am. So I never forget where I came from. But yes, at the same time, I was elated, right? Because who doesn't love when their hard work pays off?
Right.
So I only know my struggles. I only know the amount of sleepless nights and how hard it is and how much I had to give up to contribute to my business. Because it doesn't just, like you said, it doesn't happen overnight. You know, it's a process. It's a process of months and a year. And so to be able to hit that mark, more importantly, with my full-time job is, to me, is amazing, right? So I was just very, very happy and very grateful. So for the love and support that I've gotten so far.
Okay, that was like an Oscar speech.
Well, you asked me how I felt, so that's how I felt.
And I appreciate your honesty. Okay, just to throw some more light on that question. Now,
Yeah.
how much? Okay, like how much time do you really give your blog besides working full time? Like, do you have like obviously you do have a schedule. So how many hours a week probably do you give to your blog?
So it's every night, 4 hours, sometimes more. Sometimes could be 5 hours, depending on what is it that I'm doing. If I have a deadline, I have a product to launch, then it ends up being longer. If I have to take a day off from work to just concentrate on that, then I will do that, whatever is needed. But in generally speaking, I would say about 4 or 5 hours every single day. And then weekends, I dedicate the entire weekend, or I'll take at least one day off during the week just to decompress and have a breather. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's pretty much 6 days in a row. But I usually really try to have at least one day of the week where I don't do anything, no legal work, no blogging work, nothing, just complete to myself. But if I'm lucky, but there are times that I just can't do it. So
No, absolutely. So basically, we're looking at if you're doing the whole one day, you're taking an off. Let's say it's a weekend, so you're looking at 4 hours a day into five. That's 20, 20 plus 20. So like 30 hours, 30 to 40 hours
easily,
a week.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. So that's like literally like part-time job. Like you're actually
It is a part-time job. Yeah, it's a side hustle. Yeah.
and the side hustle is growing at such a phenomenal rate.
Mm-hmm.
What like why not just do this full time?
I get this question asked a lot. I mean, I kind of expected that. I don't know. It's been a struggle, like to just leave my job. I've been doing it. I graduated from law school in 2010. So it's been many years as a lawyer. And I just don't know if I'm ready to completely stop being a lawyer, like in the real life, not just like outside of the online space. And as I mentioned, I love working with people. So as much as I love the autonomy of working from home and all of that comes with it, I also enjoy the personal interaction with people, like going in and meeting with clients and, having all of that. And I'm not the kind of person who hates the law. I know there are a lot of unhappy lawyers.
Mhm.
And I'm not the kind of person who hates my job. So I mean, if I had those, then it would be a very easy decision. I would have left a long time ago. So I think that's why it hasn't been easy for me to just say, okay, I'm done. But I know eventually I'm heading there because it's going to become impossible. As it is, it's a lot to juggle between my job and my business as my business is growing at the rate that it's growing. And so I know that it's just a matter of time where I'm going to have to dedicate full time, or I'm going to build a team.
Mhm.
So we'll see where it goes,
No, I absolutely get that, because especially when you're building an online business, you spend so much time in front of the computer, especially at
Yeah.
work, where most online businesses are born. And, even like here, you have the best of both worlds. You have,
Yes.
you have that whole concept of, I love what I do. I do what I love in your job. And
Yeah.
I love what I do, and I do what I love in your online, adventure of
Yes.
helping and making an impact. So I think you got lucky where you're able to really, take the best of both worlds and get that sense of fulfillment from both ends.
Yeah, that's it. You just said it. You just read my mind or what? Sense of fulfillment. Those are the exact words I would have used. Yeah.
So there's, there's this whole, I mean, it's worth putting in the time because you know that it's giving you that sense of, satisfaction that, at the end of the day, you're like, I did a lot, like, I had fun
Yes,
doing it,
very productive. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
and I think a lot of people aspire to even attain one vertical of fulfillment. Here you've got two, you know, and which is really inspiring to say the least. And because as a take like you said, there are a lot of unhappy lawyers, right?
Yes,
There are
they
a lot of
are.
like unhappy professionals because they probably chose the wrong profession. They chose the wrong subject in college, or they made that
Yes.
fundamental mistake. And it's okay. Like it happened, it happened. You made that mistake.
Yeah.
Maybe your mom or dad told you that you have to study this and you went ahead with it. And now you're in a job where, you're probably like not really happy.
Yeah.
If you don't love what you do, then you blame it on the 9 to 5. You blame it on the rat.
Yes.
But if you love what you do,
Yes.
then you don't look at it as a 9 to 5.
Right.
That's the difference. So now the reason why I'm speaking about this is because there are people who might be watching this who are unhappy and who have this desire to, like, let me just start a blog. Let me just
Yeah.
start something. So like, I just want to gauge from you, like, because here's an opportunity for anyone to start an online business around what they love, right?
Right.
So you might be unhappy in your job, but you have the opportunity to simultaneously start something like you have while being a full-time lawyer. People who are unhappy professionals. So this is like on the other side of things,
Yeah.
unhappy professionals in a job, and they're looking for a way out. And there's this whole you look all over Facebook and you see people talking about like build a business around what you're passionate about, or do what you love what you do. And some of them are misleading, some of them are actually genuine ways to go about it. But for someone who is watching this and is unhappy and they want to just do what they love, do you think that blogging is something that they can get started with?
Yeah, I mean, I know so many successful 6, 7 figure bloggers. That's what they did. They hated their job. So it was the most majority of the people do, right?
Yeah.
So they started their blog because they wanted to escape the 9 to 5.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, I would say if you have a passion and you are, look, we only live once.
Yes.
So make it count, right? Why be miserable? Why be in a profession or in a business that you don't like, you don't love? You're just shortening your life.
That's
So
true.
I would say that there's so many successful entrepreneurs. I'm just an exception who loves the job, but there are a majority of them that I know, they don't. So they started their side hustle or they quit their jobs when their business started reaching a certain milestone, and they are very successful. So yeah, I mean, if you don't try it, you don't know. So
Exactly.
I would say try, especially now that it's so easy to start a blog. Why not? So
No, absolutely. And thank you for that, because if you have a choice, why be stuck in one place?
yeah.
Go out there and try. At least you'll know then.
Yeah, and if you don't like it, you don't like it. There's so many different kinds of businesses. You don't have to have a blog, you know what I mean? Like you could start a different kind of online business. I mean, the options are endless, right? So we just have a lot more options now than we ever did back in the day, right? Like I wish I started my blog like 10 years ago, but things are just different. We didn't have that much exposure.
You would still be a full-time lawyer managing. It would be no different. Probably instead of 24,000, it would be at $440,000 a month.
Roman, are you saying there's no hope for me?
Oh, there is. But I think more importantly, I mean, see, not everyone really hits that level of success that you have in a span of 1.5 years. So I mean, anybody's gonna ask, like, so Amira, what's your special sauce? What do you do? That we're not doing. So what is that? What do you think that really sets you apart from the ones that don't hit that level, especially in a year and a half's time?
I think that we touched upon a lot of those factors already. Stop questioning yourself, stop being a perfectionist. These are some of the tips that I would give. Stop being a perfectionist, invest in the right tools and resources, have the mentor, learn, because you're going to get so many ideas. Like I didn't have an idea that I was going to create products. That came to me because I took that course. It was part of their one of the segment was creating, and I just realized, oh my God, I love creating products. But if I had never taken the course, I probably would have never created a product. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes just by learning from someone, the light bulb moment happens. So so do that and have a discipline. Like manage your time really wisely, because time is on wings all the time. Okay, so our today, tomorrow becomes past like crazy. So manage your time wisely. And also everything you do with your blog or your business, you got to think the end goal. You got to start from the end and work your way backwards. So if I'm writing a blog post, I'm already thinking, how am I going to monetize it while providing value? So yes, I'm serving my audience, but I'm not wasting my time or their time. I'm also giving them the solutions in the blog post, whether it's through products, recommendations, or whether it's through something else or a tool, whatever. But those are the ways that you're earning income for yourself too. So as I mentioned before, a lot of people make the mistake of just putting content out there without that end goal. And then they wonder, I'm not making any money, you know? So you got to have an end goal. Or even if it's a product, don't create a product without doing the market study research, you know, like figure out what is it that people really need, you know, because you could have spent like 6 months creating a product, which is a flop, right? Nobody's buying. So in my case, like I said, my research writing skills come in handy as a lawyer. So I've kind of had all those aspects. So I used all of those. So everything I do with my blog, it's very much like, I don't know how to say it, but it's very much like structured. Like, okay, if I'm doing this, I'm doing it because this, because that. So get that all sorted and then, you know, take the plunge. So there's really no secret. There's you just have to approach it like a business is what I'm saying. You don't approach it like, oh, I'm writing a blog post, I'm creating this product, I'm creating this freebie, you know, nobody's subscribing, nobody needs. So, or I'm writing this email, which is, you know, I'm just writing it for the sake of writing it. No, it's, you know, treat it like a business.
No, absolutely. And you couldn't have said it better. With all the right ingredients, you get that dish that you want, you know?
Yeah.
If one ingredient is missing, then you're not going to get that, you know, that tasty butter chicken.
That's funny.
So,
Great.
Now, with respect to your core niche, which is blogging, okay, like, I mean, the fact that the platform, because people choose different things, they create funnels, they create sales pages, and they create like one, you know, they just drive traffic to one page. But here you're literally, you know, you're blogging, like literally you're doing what a blogger does. You know, you're posting content on your website, and you're doing this in a structured way. Now, let's speak more about like the, you know, traffic. When you were beginning, and I mean, I just want to know your experience with driving traffic to your blog when you started, and how much control you have over it, like today, where you can predict a certain amount of revenue at the end of the month.
Okay, so with traffic is really important for bloggers, right? Because without traffic, we're not monetizing. So, so the key is like start with Pinterest. Because it is very, very easy. You set up your account and you'll honestly start having traffic like the first week. And Pinterest rewards you for publishing great content and things like that. So, and then the second thing you should absolutely focus on from day one is SEO. And I made that mistake of not doing that. So I, in the very beginning, wasn't very well aware of SEO and how important it was for Google traffic. So I was focusing so much on Pinterest and I wasn't focusing on SEO at all. So I published about maybe 15 blog posts that I had to literally go back after I learned about SEO, go back, revise them, hire people because of my time limitations to go ahead and optimize them. And that's one mistake I wish like I could have avoided: the time, the money, and the hassle and all of that. So again, it goes back to that whole structure and making sure when you're writing a blog post, you're not just writing it, you know, like make sure SEO optimized, make sure it's good. Do the Pinterest keyword research too. Pinterest also has Pinterest SEO. So those are two primary sources of traffic for me. And then Facebook also brings me some traffic too, but I would say the most important are Pinterest and Google.
And nobody would really think about Pinterest because it's always about, you know, Facebook or even like SEO.
Yeah.
Pinterest is like, I think, you know, the least mentioned source.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
And if you're emphasizing on it so much, I would say it's like an underestimated source of traffic.
Yeah.
You know, so
it
like,
is.
What, like when you, so just for the people who are watching right now, who probably know what Pinterest is or just have an idea of it. Now, how does one really like drive traffic using Pinterest? What is that methodology that anyone can use today right now by driving traffic to their page? Is it posting, like creating your board and pinning on your board?
So Pinterest is a platform that I wish I could just sum it up in few sentences for you, but I can't. You have to invest in a course.
Okay.
There's no way around it. Again, you can try on your own, but then you'll miss few things. So I'll give you like a little bit of rundown. So yes, have some boards of your own, have relevant group boards that you should join. So I have like about, I don't know, 100 some boards. So whatever is it that you're doing, if you're in the food niche, or you're in the lifestyle niche, or in your personal finance, blogging, legal, whatever, join some group boards in your niche, pin it to them. But again, there's so many things that you wouldn't know if you hadn't taken a course, like how many times to pin, how many pins to create, how to create the Pinterest graphics, what are the dimensions, so there's so many little details. And so, yeah, do those things. But if you take the course once, you learn the ins and out of it. I know it's a learning process, but then again, building a business is hard work. So, everything you have to learn marketing, you have to learn sales, you have to learn product creation, you have to learn traffic, you have to, it's a lot of components. It's multiple hats that you have to wear in the beginning to just get your hang of all these different things. So that's where Pinterest comes in. But there are a lot of Pinterest strategies and tips like that you just have to know. And then you just, every time you publish a post, you just do some research on Pinterest as well for the different titles and things like that. And then Pinterest is such a visual platform. So the way you appeal to people is by the type of graphic you have, the font, the colors can't be a mismatch. You can't just use some crazy font and that people can't read. And, so these are all rookie mistakes people do make. I did too. Like in the beginning, my pins look like so ugly. I'm embarrassed, because I'm not a graphic designer. But as you learn more and more, then you realize, I can get a template for Pinterest, why waste time designing myself and things like that. So there's a lot you have to learn.
And thank you for sharing as much as that, because I know that there's a learning curve, because I myself haven't logged into my Pinterest for like at least a year, but the takeaway from what you just said is, number one, Pinterest is a source of traffic. Number two, if you invest in a course, you can learn how it's done the right way instead of, obviously figuring it out on your own and making mistakes and slowing your growth. And these are the two factors that I believe the most important is that you have to learn how to use it, because it's kind of like surprising to me, because I never looked at Pinterest as like, a source of traffic, and especially organic, I'm assuming, right?
It's organic. Yeah. I mean, Pinterest had paid advertising too, but I don't do paid. Everything I've been able to get great traffic from just organic traffic. And listen, go ahead.
No, please go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, if you didn't want to learn on your own, you always have an option of outsourcing it. There are a lot of Pinterest managers, right? So there's virtual assistants and things like that. But again, it depends on what your budget is and whether you want to take that course or not. Or I'm the kind of person who at least wants to have a very good understanding of, all the components of my business before I just start outsourcing, and next thing I'm not getting the results. So
no, absolutely. And one thing that I want to highlight again is the fact that you've done everything organically.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, no paid. Oh yeah, that number that I told you last month is totally organic. No paid advertising. I'm going to get into it eventually, but I have total organic. Yeah.
That is insane. It's really cool, because I think I believe in paid advertising, because that was the path I took, because I started learning more about, using paid advertising, especially with Facebook and Instagram. And I didn't really get that exposure with respect to organic traffic. And, now, like, as I'm, having this conversation with you, I can see that, and I've seen other examples as well, where people have been able to generate revenue organically. And it's like, you hear those hooks where it's like, generated so and so, without paid ads. Like the part where it says without paid ads is like, it just engages you, and it's like, what? I can save money on ads, and you've been able to successfully grow your blog organically just using, as you said, Pinterest and SEO. Like a majority of traffic comes from Pinterest and SEO. Maybe like a percentage comes from Facebook and everywhere else. But just SEO and Pinterest. Like, if you had to allocate like a percentage between SEO and Pinterest, are they on the same like
Pinterest
Elaborate?
is more because remember, I started focusing on Pinterest before I focused on SEO. So SEO came like a few months after Pinterest because like I said, initially I only focused on Pinterest. I didn't even know about SEO. Okay. So I had never taken the course, nothing. But when I realized how important Google traffic is, and I'm like, oh my God, I got to learn this. So it was a few months after I had already launched and started blogging. A lot of, like I said, 15 blog posts were already published. So Google obviously takes longer, right? Pinterest is faster to get traffic. But let me ask you this, it's very interesting that you've used paid advertising. How has your experience been with Facebook ads, or have you done any other ads too?
So as far as like the only paid advertising that I have invested in has been Facebook ads, and obviously by default, like that includes Instagram as well. Um,
Right.
but I think I've really had good experiences because I think see, there's always a learning curve. You invest in a course, and I
Yeah.
did in a few because I wanted to make sure, just like you said, to get like a good grasp of
Yeah.
what's really happening. And especially when you're you're getting started with the beginner's guide to Facebook ads, that is just like they're not even scratching the surface. Like,
Yeah.
that's not really helpful. You have to, like they say, that if you want to learn how to swim, just jump. Okay.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I mean with the right instructions, but just jump. And that's exactly what I did. I jumped in and I started playing around. I literally played around. Like, I did have to like spend a lot of money just playing around, but I think it was the best experience I had because I actually got to learn how
Yeah.
it works. And not that I'm like an expert today, but the campaigns that I run have been extremely profitable for me. So based on my statistics, it's like if like currently if I put in like let's say I put in like $1, I'm
Yeah.
getting back like $6.
That's pretty good return.
So
Yeah.
for me that's how I'm looking at it. Like, if
Yeah.
if I was putting in $1 and I was getting back nothing, then it
Yeah.
doesn't work for anyone. But just applying that that whole ideology of how to really make that happen, like how to really go from like generating 5x from just 1x, is basically putting in the work with respect to testing it out for yourself, understanding how
Yeah.
your targeting works, understanding who your audience is, where they hang out, and being able to really split test your creative, your copy, your headline. Because
Yeah.
it's not like one size fits all. you know
No, it
it's not
doesn't.
like, hey,
Right.
here's a manual, and just copy paste this and you're good to go. No, you have to really you got to play the field with respect to Facebook ads. And
Yeah.
it's been doing well for me. I rely on Facebook ads for my traffic. There is literally zilch organic traffic. Maybe like I wouldn't even know if it's organic. You know,
Wow. Okay.
yeah. So there's like this is like a yin and yang happening over here.
Yeah, because I'm talking organic, you're talking, but this is very encouraging for me because I look at it this way. If I reach this much with an organic traffic, then I can only imagine the potential with paid, right? And just listening to your results is very encouraging because I'm like, okay, that's definitely my next logical step.
Exactly. And it's amazing and fascinating that you've been able to scale organically, basically like your revenue minus how much you spend on tools is,
Yeah.
is in hand, which is insane. And especially like, for anyone, in India, that's,
Mm-hmm.
that's a lot. That's like, people don't even make that in a year, you know,
Right.
and
Right.
here we're looking at opportunities and possibilities where there's this bridge that is, see, everything that happens in the Western world comes to India and
It's
influences India.
true.
It's
It's
just how it
true.
is. And in a way, the whole this whole new dimension of coaches, digital coaches, and bloggers, and
Yeah.
courses. Like literally, if you were in India right now scrolling through your Facebook feed and you are hitting someone's targeting with respect
Yeah.
to entrepreneurship or blogging, or maybe some create and go Facebook fan
Yeah.
page, then
Yeah.
you would see the abundance of ads hitting you with respect to, here's this course at
Yeah.
like like really really like low price courses, like low ticket offers. And it's crazy because see, when you're doing something of this sort in, in the US or in UK and Europe, it's like it's different. I
Yeah,
don't
it's
really know how
true.
to explain it to you, but in India, that out of like 100% of the population, more than 60% are rural Indians,
Yeah.
and you have like just a smaller percentage of the urban crowd. And in even within the urban crowd now, there is this this huge jump of people to onto technology, people who like rickshawalas who didn't know how to use smartphones. Now the government has made it cheaper for them to have a smartphone, so you'll see like the rickshawala having like a Facebook account. So a lot more people are getting online.
Wow.
It's
Okay.
insane because, like, another example is that if you get into an Uber in the US
Uh-huh.
or in Europe or in UK, you can chat with the Uber driver. You can be like, hey, what's up, how's your day going?
Right.
In India you don't do that. It's not like, because there is that I don't really know how to put it. I'm not saying there's no discrimination. It's just that
Yeah.
there's a difference in the levels of crowd in India, where there
Yeah.
is the developed, there's underdeveloped, and with respect to the response people give to ads like this, where a course is being sold. I mean, if you worry about, they say that haters are going to hate and trollers are going to troll. There's an abundance of trollers in India just
True.
waiting to pounce on you. There are sometimes the comments are really funny because, so that's the thing. Like, especially India is not really a developing nation. It's quite like almost like they're up in the leagues of the major nations. But
Mm-hmm.
there's been a rise in digital entrepreneurship as far as
Right.
Asia is concerned. And obviously,
Mm-hmm.
we're all influenced by what's happening out there, because it first happens in the US, it first happens in the UK,
Yeah, then it
and then
goes, yeah.
it's like kind of like, like when they say when the US sneezes, we catch a cold. Uh,
Right.
so there is this huge development happening in this industry, where there are new online coaches just like
Yeah.
emerging. And it's happening at a very rapid pace. So that's where there is a huge demand nowadays, especially in India and in the neighboring countries, because people are realizing, the whole reason I'm saying this is because people are realizing that the potential and the possibility to build something online is
Right.
like, this is the most amazing time to be alive. That's what I say.
It's true. I
And
agree.
it's just amazing that you can really take your voice, take your gift, take your passion, and monetize it.
Yep.
you
Make
know
an impact. Yeah,
make an
all of
impact,
that.
exactly. And this is like, compared to probably 20 years ago, it's like it's just insane that, and people are just
Yeah.
realizing this now. And that's where my ads bridge their lack of education to, hey, here you go, this is the roadmap, follow this. uh,
Right.
and that's how, actually, for me, honestly, paid ads has been just remarkable, because I did the whole organic thing, and it takes a lot of time for
It
me,
does. It takes long
to
time.
really
Yeah.
like reach out and to really build value. And I just think that paid advertising has worked for me. But however, in your case, imagine what you can do now, since you've done it
Yeah.
organically. You can
Well,
scale to a whole new level.
that's exactly what listening to you honestly was very encouraging, because like it just gives me like a lot more clarity now that okay, now sky's the limit, right? So
Exactly. So I mean, Amira, thank you so much for. I mean, this has been an incredible conversation, and I think you and I can have a conversation, like,
all
normally
day.
all day. Yeah. However, we gotta just close this, because I think as far as everything that was important and necessary with respect to your journey, with respect to what your thought process is, with respect to how you think, how you approach things, and how you manage these two verticals in your life, with respect to full-time business lawyer and a successful blogger. We've covered a lot with respect
Yes.
to your mindset, with respect to the mindset one should bring to the internet game, and organic traffic, of course, and how this how you're going to start applying that as well, once you can. This has been incredible, Amira, and this is definitely going to inspire a lot of people watching this, and to start their own blog, and they're definitely going to want to, learn more about you and, get access to, your legal bundle and get access to everything, especially your blog, because I highly recommend everyone watching this to go and check out your blog, because it's really amazing how much, how well you structure each post with respect to the value you want to bring to the table. And if somebody has a question, even if they don't, even if they find your article with respect to one question, there are other questions that automatically get answered through your post. And,
Right.
that is something that I've experienced firsthand.
Thank
So
you.
I would really recommend everyone watching this, like, go and check out aselfguru.com. Going to drop some links below as well if you're watching this on YouTube. Now, just to close this, Amira, is there any daily ritual that keeps you at your A game, and that's like something you just live by?
Yeah, for me, it's meditation. I don't know if it's a popular choice or not, but it keeps me grounded. It keeps me very focused. So the first thing I do when I wake up is I spend that alone time, because it gives me clarity, gives me focus for the day, because my mind is split in so many different directions throughout the day with my job, then coming home and responding to emails and customers and Facebook group and my blog. It's just so much. And if I didn't have a ritual like that, I would be kind of cluttered and I would be scattered brain and I would just be overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. So I don't know how many people appreciate the value of meditation or not, but I personally do. And for me, it is a life-changing phenomena. Like I just wake up and in the morning, it just really gives me that focus. I write down what I need after I'm done with the meditation. I write down my to-do list. And it just it's amazing the amount of, because like we touched upon, Romit, mindset is equally important and it goes hand in hand with the amount of work you do, right? So if you're not mentally there, whatever you're producing, it's not going to give you the results that you want, right? That you truly desire. So you need to be having that positive, clear, mindset. And to me, meditation is that ritual that allows me to get there.
No, I agree with you 100% that meditation is what really brings alignment between your, your thoughts and your beliefs and your actions, what you put out there. And it's when it's in sync that you start reaping the right rewards and your efforts to, see fruition. So,
and also the creativity that flows.
Yes.
Sometimes, you get some amazing ideas when you're just in that, you know what I mean? In that higher frequency and that higher state of mind. I've gotten some really crazy genius ideas from there, and then I had implemented and it's been a success. So you can call it coincidence, but it could be just really aligning with my inner self and just serving that higher purpose.
No, I absolutely agree with you. And meditation it's a ritual of all, the millionaires, billionaires, and
yeah.
There's a pattern over there. So if you wanna be, like someone, then you follow what they do.
Yep.
It's as simple as that. So I think the discussion that we even had recently with respect to meditation was, I follow Vishen Lakhiani with respect to meditation practice. I think that not to get into anything in detail right now. We're going to wrap this interview up, but
yes, otherwise we'll keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And I completely respect your time, so I'm not gonna take this any further. Plus, I want people to watch this whole interview, so I don't want it to go beyond a certain point. So yes, meditation is extremely important, especially if you're starting something of your own, because it's your mindset that's going to take you through the failures and through the rejections and through the things that don't work, and really push you towards what you need to do to make it work. So that was extremely, thank you for sharing that as your morning ritual that I think everyone should do. I do it, and I think everyone should do it, especially if you're, wanting to start something and make something manifest for yourself. Amira, it's been an honor. It's been a pleasure. I'm really grateful for this time that you've given amidst your really busy schedule, being a full-time lawyer and a six-figure blogger. So thank you so much for being over here. And if anybody wants to connect with you, there are going to be some links. Just make sure if you have any questions, and I'll be happy to pass on your questions to Amira. And thank you so much for being over here and doing this. And I'm truly grateful. And if there's anything you want to just close this with, you want to tell the audience, how do they get in touch with you, or probably something you want to share with them, then the stage is all yours.
Yeah, no, sure. The easiest way to get in touch with me is through my Facebook group. It's A Self Group Biz Blog Community, and Romit will share the link. And then, of course, you can always reach me on my website. There's a Work With Me page, and then you could see the different ways that we can work together. As I mentioned, it's my passion. I truly love working with entrepreneurs. So if you have any questions, legal, business, blogging, whatever it may be, I'm happy to help. And lastly, Romit, thank you so much for this opportunity. Honestly, this interview has been the most engaging and fun ones that I've done in a long time. So I'm really glad. I'm really glad that you reached out.
Yes, I'm glad to. So thank you so much. And for those of you who are watching, make sure you leave a comment, make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you make the most of this journey that she's had, that she shared with you, to go out there, take action, and make things happen for yourself. So thank you so much, and thank you, Amira.
Thank you.